Hang on just a minute. Well, hello there, everybody. Let me introduce myself. I am Kerry Knauf, and I'm going to backtrack on one of my lives that I did on my other channel. Well, I should say my old channel for a bit and talk about childhood a bit. Um, when you hear crazy horses, one bad apple, down by the river, we're having a party. What band, group, or family do you think of? You think of the Osmonds, and you are correct when you think of the Osmonds. Um, sit out of the out of the sun a little bit, in the shade. I want to try something different. But you think of the Osmonds, and sadly, Wayne Osmond passed on January the 1st of 2025. And Wayne and his brothers had many hits. They started on, oh, I'll think of his name later, Andy Williams' show. Sadly, this morning, I got news on TikTok that Alan um, Osmond passed away. He was 76. He was 76 years old, and his brother Merrill um, made the announcement. I had to Google to get more information. We'll wait till helicopter. Here, let me sit this back a little bit. Okay, there we go. And his brother Merrill made the announcement. Um, for us Gen Xers, and especially baby boomers, you grew up listening to the Osmonds. And I just thought the picture that I chose is a picture of Alan and Donnie Osmond. I remember the cartoon shows, the cartoons, Donnie and Marie, and I actually got to see Marie twice and Donnie and Marie once. Once in the late 80s in Illinois for Marie, and then a few years ago with Donnie at the Firekeepers Casino in Battle Creek, Michigan. I chose to go live and unlist this because, first of all, taking a break from the uploading. Number two, a lot of people were having issues with their lives, and I figured that I would rather check it out. But the top reason is I want to really talk about the Osmonds, do the Osmonds justice. And I am a Gen Xer, and talk about what a wonderful family. Um, Morning. Hang on a second. Okay, okay. Take one, two, three, four. And just talk about. I had to pause for a minute, neighbor dog. And just talk about what an incredible family they are. Just, just bringing us joy. I never saw the Osmonds all together, but just what an incredible family of pride, grace, and dignity. And the Osmonds have a huge, huge family, but they just bring us joy. They bring us love, strength, and um, and just joy through the hard times, the difficult times, in a world full of chaos that we're living through now. But that's uh, besides the point. And besides Donnie, Wayne is my favorite Osmond. There was just something about Wayne, and everyone is just so gracious with their time. They really appreciate it, and they have good, strong family values. But Wayne and all of the Osmonds are just like one of a kind, regardless if they're like solo careers. What they just brought to the table, and I promised I would never overshare again. But since this is a special occasion, I will, and I feel old. I'm I'm a Gen Xer. I'm in my 50s, and I remember when the does anybody here remember the Osmonds Christmas shows that they did in the 70s, regardless if it was like Donnie and Marie or the Osmond family together. It just brings back memories, values, and traditions, and the missing of your loved ones because you have those memories around them. It's like when you hear the Osmonds or anything else in your life, it brings people together. And I really, really wish that they would bring traditions back. But Bob Dylan, the times are a changing, and it is just so true in this life, you know, and you just hang on to the traditions that we have when everybody were to sit at a kitchen table, either talk at breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or people gathering around um, the TV and watch TV and talk about current events. Regardless if you're a boomer with the Ed Sullivan Show, Andy Williams shows, and all those good TV shows. Um, and I was thinking this when Wayne passed, but I did not have time to go in it to depth. What the boomers had and what my generation, Gen X, we had that. And it got me to thinking that the only things, I would say, the only things, and correct me if I am wrong with the statement, the only things that, um, and this really worries me, um, is music. Music can bind generations together, but it got me to thinking. I'm Gen X. What do future generations are going to have with traditions? Or even if you have to make new ones with yourself. I will admit I'm not a modernizer. I never said this before, but I am not a modernizer. And you can call me an old geezer or old fart, and boomers and even the silent generation can tell you family and tradition are important. And it's so nice, and I know I'm get crap for this, but it is just so nice to listen to past music where you can listen to the words and you don't have uh, the times they are changing in music and everything, that's great and all, and I support it, but whatever happened to rock and roll? Happened to me? Well, it's easy listening now, and I get that and I understand that, but whatever happened to the good old days where you didn't have to worry about violence? And some of the music of today is okay. A lot of it, I'm going to be blunt and harsh, is crap. And that's why I don't take my generation of music for granted. Same as the boomer, and yes, I like the silent generation, you know. And to be a little off topic, I watched a movie last night that should have won Best Picture called Sinners. And it just really opened my eyes to the world a little bit more. Um, Everybody has their own culture and they do what they want to do. And when I saw, that's the message that I took. It takes a strange turn just about over half of the way through. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but watching that film, everybody, I know that culture has like their own traditions and stuff, but the generation after mine and even mine after that, um, what is their what's their legacy going to be? And and that's what I think when I hear the Osmonds: legacy, joy. laughter, pain, heartache. Music, especially the Osmonds' music. I haven't listened to them yet today, but I listened to them a lot when their brother Wayne passed. And music heals the soul. It is life, you know. But that's just a mail truck going down the hill. And music is soul. And I pray for everybody's future because, like I said, minute to minute, hour to hour, minute to minute, things change. And I always say this in my lives, and I did not think that I would have time today, but our plans changed. And what I mean by that is you have plans, but life has plans for you. And we only get one life, you know. And that's what the Osmonds really, really, and music from that era, late 60s, my era, especially the 70s, with the Osmonds, I'll tell you, like I said, I did not get a chance to go into a lot. I was going through a lot in 2025, but my first recollection with the Osmonds before the FCC changeover was the Andy Williams show. And I got to see a lot of those shows on PBS. But modern um, Osmonds was a little bit old. When I was like a little bit older, I got even more interested in the Osmonds through Donnie and Marie. It is a beautiful day. It's in the 40s right now. We're supposed to have like um, double up. Ooh, somebody's burning some stuff. And I just felt like wholesome, you know, and it was just like so good, you know, and it just made me think when I heard that Alan Osmond died, and I think of the future when I'm gone, the silent generation, the boomer generation, and Gen X. We, I can't speak for millennials. Maybe you've had this. Um, did you ever felt peace like um, a chill? You know, like innocence. In other words, did of course the generation after me is millennial, and I was just wondering, do different generations feel the chillness and of life? In other words, innocence is what I'm trying to say because I'm trying to see if different generations feel that. And, you know, innocence is very important. And I just feel that life should slow down for our millennials and the generations after that. And different generations after me, kids are just just like way, way too fast. Um, a few years ago, this is before I went on YouTube, I was talking to a friend who's an ex friend now, due to obvious reasons, which I'm going to get into. Um, we were talking about that innocence, peace, and stuff. And let's just say this: my generation welcomes you to listen to our music. It's okay to protest, just don't make butts out of yourself, um, because of it. Just be responsible. God knows I have protested, but I just wonder. And the title of the Moody Blues for our children's children. I mean, what is the world gonna be like? And so what if the year is 2026 and it is 2026? I've been watching TikTok videos of people liking the Beatles, and if that's your thing and you get made fun of, so what? If you listen to the Osmonds, if that's what's bring you joy and comfort, and to make your life slow down, then that's great. That's why I love my generation of music. For me, even though that we've had a lot of hard times, just go through the 70s up till now, you'll understand, because it's too long and too controversial of a topics to discuss. And I really, really miss the simpler times. And it's just so great that the Osmond music is just living on through out the social media and everything. And I just love what the 70s is coming back and the 60s is coming back. Thank you, Jesus. And a lot of the 80s trends are coming back. And I am so glad that it's coming back. And I am so glad that it is because it gives the generation after me, the millennials and so on, a glimpse of the past, of what my generation, the boomers, and the silent generation is. And even in 2026, people are rediscovering music, and the Osmonds will live on. Alan will live on, Wayne will live on, Donnie and Marie and Meryl and Jay and Jimmy, will all live on. And I just think they, like I said, I keep on saying it because it's true. I just think that they are wonderful people to role models. Do we have role models anymore? That is a good question. In a world full of chaos, do we actually have um, role models anymore? That is a very, very good question. I have role models, and I'm not going to say who they are because that's private. But I'm just happy that my generation, and I was born in the 70s, that my music is living on. I am just so proud of that. I really, really am. I am really, really proud. I am moved to tears that my generation of music is just living on. People are discovering it like they're discovering the Osmonds. I'm sitting in a different way, but I remember the first ever. Osmonds record. And back in the early 70s until right around the early 1980s, there was a thing called album rock. Okay. They don't do that anymore. And it was um, Crazy Horses. And of course, I watched the cartoons because, like I said, I've heard of the Osmonds and I've heard of the cartoons because I used to watch it. It came out the year that I was born, and I'm not going to tell you, but it was about 1974 when I first heard the Osmonds. I got into them about the year after the Beatles. And I'm going to move because it's getting a little bit warm, and I'll take this, lift things up. Let me clear out the system here, and I'll bring this back because I'm sitting in the sun. I have a lot to say. There, that's better. I'll just set this here. That's better. I'll sit over here. But it was Crazy Horses. And I was just like blown away. I got my mind blown musically a lot uh, in the 1970s, obviously. And then I got to see Donnie and Marie, and and it just brought me and brought everybody joy. I'm gonna head back in. I'll get it. Idiot call. Well, anyway, I came back in so I can put the phone on the charge a little bit more and whatnot. Music brings us love. Music brings us joy. And whatever joy that you get and you get made fun of, welcome. Pardon my French. Today's 2026. We can listen to what we want to listen to. But um, they come from a wonderful family, and it's like their presence. It's like when you see them on stage, you know they're the Osmonds. Or when they start singing, even Marie and Donnie's solo careers were nice. I'm supposed to talk about Alan, but how can you not talk about Alan without talking about Alan Wayne and the rest of the um, Osmond family? But I just thought that this was a beautiful picture for the thumbnail, and I am so glad that I chose to um, do it this way. And I'll talk about the rest of them, but Alan, he was a treasure. It's like watching them grow up. They have so much archive from the Andy Williams show to their own shows. And man, I feel old. Donnie and Marie started 50 years ago this year in 1976. And we have like this great big um America's big um birthday um this year. But 1976 was a great year for music and everything. But yes, the Osmonds just bring joy to all of us. It's like that's what I love about music. You remember where you were when you first heard it. It's like um music of our life. It's almost like a musical biography of your life, like when you hear Crazy Horses. I'll start there. I was here at the house. I was little, obviously. Duh. And it was powerful. I mean, when that record came out, there was no other record out there like that. And the album is also called Crazy Horses, and I'll talk about the 70s a little bit too. I mean, you mentioned the Osmonds, you have to bring up the 70s, right? And everybody had like their own variety show. I'm going to bring up shows that generations now won't know unless you're a Gen Xer or a baby boomer or a silent generation. A Lottie Dottie, and everybody had like their own variety show, like Shields and Yarnell, Tommy Two Tone, and Twiggy. Obviously Donnie and Marie. And there was, oh my God, so many others. I just wish that they would bring the variety show back and give generations uh, I, after me, saying like, hey, their generation was not all that bad. I wish um, the youngsters these days, and some of them are not youngsters, they're in their 40s and even 30s or even teenagers now. I just wish that they could grasp on what our generation could do. I mean, there are things in high school back in my day that you cannot do anymore, and that goes for the boomer generation and the silent. Yeah, because we didn't have to worry about anything. We did not have to worry about let that sink in for a minute. And the times they are changing. Do not get me wrong. I last year when I was going through a lot of shit, I pulled out records on YouTube that really really pulled me through, and whatnot. And the Osmonds was a lot. Um, and whatnot. I listened to we were having a party, and I think my baby's back, and it just brought some happiness and joy, and that's what uh, the Osmonds feel to us. I just wish that people would rediscover music. And that's what I love about TikTok. I see generations of people now never heard of a lot of songs from from the 70s and especially the 80s, listening to them for the first time and seeing their reactions just bring me so much joy. It does. It really, really warms my heart and go like, okay, there's music out there that's going to be discovered. Even though the same thing, there's like people discovering Phil Collins for the first time, or um, what's his name, Lionel Richie, and it just and so many others, even the Beatles. I'm so thrilled, and even the Osmonds, you know. I'll tell you a story. This, I think I partially told this one on one of my older lives on one of my other channel, and I repeated this. And this is actually a true story. I never told the rest, but one day, and it was a few years ago, and I had a lot of coffee, and it was a nice breezy day, and I went out for a walk, and someone farted. I go like, "Oh my god, somebody farted! Do you smell that smell?" I said like, "No, I didn't." So I took a break from like cleaning the bathroom, right? And I had to go number two. And I took a number two and I opened up the bathroom window. Swear to God. And before I opened up the window, I flushed the toilet. And I opened up the window and I'm doing my thing. And somebody says, "Ooh wee, what the hell is that smell? It smells like a coffee crap house." And I'm trying not to laugh, right? And I go like, "Oh my god, that smell is still there. Oh my god, that's gross." And because we got talking off topic, we got off topic somehow, and I never finished up the story. And, and ironically, it had to deal with the Osmonds, right? And like I said, it was a beautiful day, and somebody, how people like to play their music like really, really loud, with their car windows down, right? Well, anyway, somebody was playing the Osmonds, obviously, and it was just too good, too perfect. After and one bad apple came on. And the part that just made me crack up laughing after everything was doing the one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch. Girl. Somebody in the neighborhood said, "It sure as hell does." Now, who the and the person says, "Who in the hell took a shit?" Like, oh my God. And then somebody says, "Oh my God, that's the Osmonds. That's awesome." And oh yeah, that happened a few years ago. I finally got the finish. Like, what's the uh Paul Harvey says, "And now you know the rest of the story." So that was the rest of the story. I'm going to take a highlight real quick because I need one for later. But now you know the rest of the story. And, and ironically, I heard that song over the weekend, you know, and somebody was walking with their headphones, and the headphone quality is just so great these days. I heard some um Donna saying, "One bad apple, oh give it," and I'm going like, yes, yes, music lives on, regardless if you're cleaning the bathroom and it stinks because to just some jolly person just felt like, hey, I feel like blaring one bad apple. And regardless of what music, 2 years ago, I was outside doing something, and this was in August. Some guy was driving. I assumed it was a guy or a lady or somebody was playing Jingle Bell by Daryl Hall and John Oates, right? And I'm going like, yeah, yeah, that is so awesome. I almost forgot to save and highlight because like I said, I am so glad I did it this way because it would take way too long to upload, and I did one, and it was supposed to take 5.5 hours, right? It took close to 10. And I've been here, like I said, I've been hearing a lot of people were having problems with their lives due to sound and everything. I just thought that I would come out and test everything out, you know. But yeah, music will live on, you know. Music will live on in all of us, and get off topic again, you know, for Bob and Tom show, they did a tribute to Bob Cavoyan, and he will live on through the Bob and Tom show. Everything lives on, regardless if they're here or not here, regardless if it's like a book, movie, um, music. Everything lives on. Everything has a purpose in life. Everybody has a purpose in life. Sometimes we don't know what that purpose is. And our purpose is just by being here on this planet and whatnot. We live in one big world, but with the population, we live in worlds because with every individual on the planet, regardless if you're in the USA or overseas, everybody's got their own world, living their life minute to minute, hour to hour, second to second. And I do feel that's what Alan Osmond and Wayne Osmond and the Osmond family did, regardless with what they did with their families and also their fans. They gave, and they're still giving. They're the gift that keeps on giving. I know a lot of people don't like me to do these types of videos, but like I said, I really, really, really wanted to do the Osmond family justice because they're just sweet, caring, um, um, they're amazing people, you know, and they care. And I mean, they give it all. Alan, Wayne, Marie, Jay, um, Jimmy, and Donnie, and even their parents. It's if anybody is interested, I can give you a family update of the Osmonds, and then I will end it here. Um, Alan has been was fighting multiple sclerosis since '87. He passed away yesterday. Merrill, he's been recording music. Donnie and Marie have been doing their own thing. Jimmy is a painter. The Osmonds are a part of my life and my dad's life, and we like to keep updated on what they're doing because I treat them as family. Because when they were on TV and when they come out with their music, it was a family event in our house. And ironically, we were talking about the Osmonds a few weeks ago, and what joy that they have brought us. Marie has done a lot of projects, and so has Donnie. And I don't know what Jay is doing. I heard that he was doing a musical the last time that I checked. But and I'm sure, like when other people listen to other music, you know, music is family. Music is something that you can go to and listen to let go of things, to bring you hope, bring you joy, release the pain in the world full of chaos that we have now. And that's what music means to me. That's what the Osmonds mean to me. And if my generation after me, which is the millennial, and the generations now have people that they can look up to, um, the joy, that's great. Let, let me know in the comments if you have that. Well, anyway, I have to go. Um, Rest in peace, Wayne and Alan Osmond. And I'm Kerry Knauf. And like I said, I am so glad that I recorded um, it this way. Let me get another save and highlight real quick. Okay, I got 3. Okay, that'll be good. But anyway, I gotta go and take care of some correspondence, and then I'm just going to chill. But to the Osmonds family, thank you for the music. Hearts and prayers go out to you for the loss of your brother Wayne and now Alan. And thank you for the music. I'm Kerry Knauf, and I will see everybody next time. Bye. One bad